Well, hello, Divi Nation. Welcome to a brand new Divi use case live stream where each week we show you how to add new design and functionality to your Divi websites. This week we're going to be showing you a few unique design features as we build a full split screen layout with some unique toggles in Divi. And I hope we learn a lot together. Let's go ahead and jump in and get started. Welcome, everyone. I do want to remind you to let me know if you can hear me, number one, and that my stream's coming in for you guys. I want to make sure that you can hear me, you can see me, all that stuff is good. I hope you're doing well over there. Let us know where you're from in the chat. Also, ask us anything you can. Hopefully, we can get to you while the live stream's going. And feel free to answer anybody else's questions as we go along. And all right, so I can see Cat 60 Designs is here. Welcome. You can hear me and see me. That's always a good sign. Awesome. All right, great. Looks like we're ready to roll here in YouTube. Let's go ahead and check Facebook. Looking like I think everything's okay. If you can, just give me a little thumbs up. Make sure and I'm coming in clear over there as well. All right. Okay, welcome again. For those of you just rolling in, we're going to be building a full split screen layout with some unique toggles in Divi. And really, this makes for a really good live stream, I think, because we're going to be showcasing a few unique things we're actually going to be putting two sections adjacent to one another. And as you can see on the screen here, I already have the complete build, the preview of what we're going to be doing together. And you can see a few unique things already. There's this 6-column icon menu down here in one of the sections on the left, and then on a different section over here we have some toggles that are pretty unique. You can see I kind of flipped the icon and put on the left, and I positioned it absolutely within the design here. And this little line here connects the toggle with the text on the left, which is again, using the position options. So there's a lot of cool things we're going to be walking through. And so I don't want to waste too much time. Oh, and also you can see how this split screen really is highlighted by the dividers in the background here. You see we have a section divider on the left side, and then a section dividers on the right side. That's these cool shapes here in the background. You can see how it goes from a curved shape to a more jagged shape here on the right, and we've positioned them so they kind of seamlessly transition into one another, even though these are two different sections. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump in and get started. Again, feel free to ask any questions. It looks like we're still hearing from some people. All right, thanks, Jeff, Solvi, Jay, Jeffers, Linda, welcome. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me. All right, I got a thumbs up from Hitchum. And Dominic says the image is blurry. Sorry, probably either on my end or your end, but we'll just have to roll with it. And Mac is in the house, always a good thing. Our videographer there. Welcome, Mac. Mac is going to answer all of your questions, I promise. He knows everything. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Let's see. First thing we're going to do is make sure you have, Divi theme installed and active. We're going to be building from scratch on the front end, so be using the visual builder. So I'm going to click build from scratch to get started. And let's go ahead and do a 1-column row here. And I'm not going to start adding my module yet. So I'm going to exit out of there. And basically, this first part is going to be setting up the sections, the dual sections or adjacent sections. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to go to my background here. And I'm going to add a background image. And hopefully I can find that image that I used quickly. If not, you know what? I'm not even going to search for it right now. I'm just going to use this one. That one's not big enough. Let's use that one. So it's going to take up half the screen. So make sure your image is as big enough to take up half the browser. Because remember, this section is going to be 50% of the width of the browser. So just make sure you have a big enough background image if you are using one. And I want it to kind of transition smoothly with a gradient here. So I'm going to get a white gradient. Let's do left color, completely white. And on the right side, let's do a kind of semi-transparent white. And let's make sure we can put that gradient on top of our image so you can kind of see the image, but we'll be able to put some text on top of it and we'll be able to see that text clearly. So that's why we're doing that. Okay, let's flip it that way. All right, let's continue on. I got my background color, gradient. Now we're going to do the size. So I'm going to jump over to my size here. And I'm going to give it a width of 50%. You'll see that section, that's 50 pixels. That's too small. Okay, 50%. And let's make sure, and I'm going to be doing a lot of, responsive design as we go along. So I'll be clicking over into that tablet tab to make sure that I have a fallback on my mobile design there, because I don't want to have that split 50-50 on mobile. Won't have enough room for all of our stuff. So 50% on desktop there. And then I want a min height for this design because I have a lot of elements and I'm making it a full screen, which means it's going to span the full height and width of my browser window. But I need a min height just in case the user, brings that browser window, makes it too short, that it would start making that content collide with one another too much. So I'm gonna give it a min height of 900 pixels. And the reason why I selected that value is because once I finished my design, I realized what was kind of like my limit of how short I can make my browser before things start getting weird. So that's what I'm doing there, my min height. But on tablet, I'm gonna bring it back to none. So, or auto. And sometimes just clicking on the tablet there will make it auto. So that's all we need to do. The height, I do want to make it 100 VH, and that would be 100 viewport height. And that's going to make sure it spans the full height of the browser there. And then for my padding, actually, I need to make sure on tablet to set it to auto. All right, for that height there. And then I'm going to get rid of my top and bottom padding. Don't need that. All right, so that takes care of that. Let me jump over to my dividers. Let's see. Top divider, here we go. So let's go ahead and choose that rounded one. This one right here. And let's give it a dark color. Dark gray there. And I want to give it a height of, let's do 50 view height. Again, we're using this is very important for this design because we're basing these designs, or a lot of these designs, on the actual size of the browser so that it is truly responsive. So 50 VH, or viewport height, is going to be consistent with the height of the section. So this divider will kind of stay the same or scale nicely as you adjust the browser width and height. The divider horizontal repeat, how many times that little divider design repeats itself. I'm actually going to cut it in half and give it a 0.5. That gives it that nice curve there. But on tablet, I'm going to, well, yeah, on tablet, I'm just going to bring it back to normal. Just give it a one-time. There you go. All right, so on tablet, I want to adjust my divider height again. I'm going to forget to do this every once in a while, so I have to go back. All right, so there we go. Takes care of my top divider. Let's do a bottom divider with the same divider style and basically the same or close to the same settings. The bottom divider color is going to be a green color, so I'm just going to paste that in there. And then I want to give my divider height of 30 VH and do a 0.5 repeat. On tablet, let's make that height a little bit shorter. I'll bring it down. Actually, I know what I wanted to do. So my desktop height should be 50 VH. Sorry. Tablet should be 30. Okay, that's better. And we don't have any content. That's why it's kind of all jumbled up right there on tablet. So there we go, looking good. Do I want to flip this one? No. Make sure the divider is underneath the section content. We're good there. Okay. That takes care of section 1. So there's my layout. We got it 100% of the viewport height. We got our sections, background, dividers in there. Now we're going to create another section. So I'm going to duplicate this one because it already has most of what I want, like as far as the responsive sizing and all that. And it also has dividers in place. So I'm just going to duplicate this one. All right, and you'll notice that it just kind of comes underneath here. So I'm going to open up my duplicate section there, open up the settings, and I'm going to position this one absolutely because I want it on adjacent to the one that's already there. I'll go to my advanced tab, position, give it an absolute position, and right now it's going to be by default behind it because it's going to have that location at the top right. I need to make it top left. So I need to make it top right. And as you can see, it's already really cool symmetrical design there. Looks like a book. But we're going to change the z-index on this duplicate here because I have some elements, actually one particular element that's going to be an icon that's going to sit right in the middle there, and it's going to overlap that previous section there a little bit. So I need to make sure the z-index is higher on this section on the right, so that becomes clickable. If that makes sense, great. If not, maybe I can explain it better when I get to that point. Okay, so background, let's just take it out. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this design, but I'm just kind of keeping it simple here. Let's take out the background color, just keep it white. For my top divider here on the right side, I'm going to change the style from that curved look to a more jagged style. So I'm going to pick this one here. And I'm going to move this over so you can see it. You can see how it's already aligned perfectly. And that they're at the connecting point there in the middle, which is what we want. I do want to change the color though, so I'm going to give it a green color. And I'm going to set the repeat instead of 0.5, I'm just going to make it to 1. And I do want to flip it, I think, on this one. Yeah, I want to flip the divider. I'm going to flip it vertically. There you go. And looks like my repeat is not right. Okay, there you go. All right, looking good. Just make sure that they are aligned. After that, let's do that bottom divider. Again, we'll give it the same jagged style. Let's bring it back up to a 1 horizontal repeat and flip it. And there you go. You got that nice transition there flowing into one another. And I do want to change the color to kind of like that pale yellow. Of course, you can use any color scheme you want to match your own site and design. All right. Okay, so there's my 2-section kind of frameworks or layouts. They're in place, which is good. I'm gonna go ahead and save it at this point, and I've been ignoring you too long, so I'm gonna come over here and see if I have any questions for you guys. All right, so hello, Johnson from Nigeria. Okay, so I got a question from Qasim or Qasim. Please tell us how to create pulse effects on Divi blurb module. Probably not the best. I probably don't have enough time to show you here. Pulse effects. If it's a general animation, I would just go under the like when you create a blurb here, you go under design animation. There's like a bounce, which is pretty close to a pulse. So that's where I would start if you're looking for an animation. But that's a one-time animation, but hopefully that helps. All right. Let's see, more questions. How could I put designs inside tabs? Can it be done without plugins? So I'm assuming you're talking about the tab module. Yes, I understand. If that is the case, there is limitations there on what you can design inside the tabs. Strictly, it's confined to the text that you have in there, really. But if you want to add more stuff in those tabs, it's probably going to be more difficult. There is a maybe someone here can link to it, but there's a tutorial I did on creating some responsive tabs, completely custom responsive tabs that give you a whole lot of room for creating your own designs inside of those tabs. And those, I think they're on hover. So when you hover over the tab, it'll show the content. Let's see, Linda, Jacob, how did you know what measurements to use? Let's see. Again, there's a great tutorial. I think I might actually, I need to start including it in the description here in the live stream because I basically mention it almost every live stream. But if you go to the blog, it's the length units one. Just search length units. And that'll kind of help. It's an ultimate guide to length units. Help you understand. Oops, didn't press enter. Understand what, here it is. What units to use and why. Okay, let's go back. This video, Mohammed is asking, is this video, will it be uploaded on YouTube? It will be available on YouTube for later viewing, yes. How do we add downloadable button when user click on the file start downloading? Okay, how to create a downloadable button. Actually, I think we have a post on that as well. Just search on our blog how to create a download button. The gist of that would be linking to a zip file. That's kind of your safe bet to have it start downloading immediately without it having all those weird pop-ups. So just create a zip file and link to it. That's my suggestion to you. You're welcome, Linda. Looks like we're good to go. Nice little pause with some rapid fire questions. So let's continue on. We're going to start adding our content. So on the left side of our section, by the way, before I get started here, if you're just joining us, I do want to welcome you to our Divi use case live stream. And today we're showing you how to design a full screen and also a split screen design with Divi. And we're going to have some unique toggles as well. And so that's what we're doing right now. We've got our basic setup with our adjacent sections here. And now we're going to be filling it with some content. All right, so moving on. So this is part 2. Let's do the title. So I'm going to click on here, add a text module. And I'm going to exit out here. I do want to set up my row first. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Right now, my row by default will kind of stay at the top of the page. I want it in the middle because I want it to be vertically aligned. There's a couple of ways we can do this using flex and stuff, but I'm just going to position it absolutely. So I'm going to click on row settings. And I'm going to add a custom gutter width because I don't want any extra spacing in there. And I want a width of 100%. Max width, I don't want a max width set, so I'm just going to make it 100% as well. And then I want my padding to be 0 on the top and bottom. I'm going to give 10% on the right because I just want my text to be not completely on kind of touching the middle of the page. I want some room there. So and now for the position, here's where I can position it vertically centered within that section. I'm just give it an absolute position. And I'm going to make it center left. So there you go. You can see it's absolutely positioned in the center of my section, which is good. All right, let's go ahead and do a text module now, and let's design it. All right, so I'm going to paste in my H1 title HTML there. Basically, it has a few breaks there to make sure the text goes on a different line. And then once that's in place, I'm going to design our text there. I'm going to give it a Poppins font, make it bold. I'm going to align it to the right. And I'm going to use for my text size a VW length unit. So I'm going to do 10 VW. Like the view height or the VH, this VW will be adjusting towards according to browser width. Okay. And then the line height, I want it to be 1.2. And the padding here, let's do 5% on the left. All right. Okay. Looking good. I don't like my location here of my row. It's not really in the center. So let me double check here. Position. Maybe if I make it to the right center. Yeah, I don't know. It's acting weird a little bit, I think, in the visual builder, but it will be right whenever. Oh, it's because I was hovering over it. That's why. So yeah, it should look like this. Nice and centered. Okay, we're good. Continuing on. Let's go ahead and create that little menu. at the bottom, which is basically another row, but this time it's going to be a 6-column row. I'm going to deploy my, whenever things start to get like absolute positioned and overlapping and stuff. Sorry about that. I accidentally zoomed in with my mouse. I'm going to open my layers box here, and I'm going to go to my row here. I'm just going to add a new row. And let's make it a 1-column because I am going to be duplicating the column to make the additional rows. And in that column, I'm going to add a blurb. All right. And before I start customizing that blurb, let me go ahead and move this out of the way. I'm going to position my row. Let's do that. So my row settings for this row, you can see it's at the top because my other one's in an absolute position. I'm going to give it a custom gutter width of 1 again because I don't want any extra spacing around it, the columns or anything. I'm going to give it a custom width of 100% because I want it across the whole section. Give it a max width of 100 again. Take out the padding, the top and bottom padding, so I'll set that to 0. And I'm going to give it an absolute position. And I'm going to put bottom left there. So I want my row to hug the bottom of this section. And then make sure and set the Z index to 3. And now we're good. Now we can customize our text, our blurb module. So I'm going to open up my blurb module there. And I'm going to cut down the actual text here because I don't need a whole lot. And then for the title, I'm just going to call it Divi. And I want to use an icon here. And let me close out my menu so we can see what's going on down there. There we are. And I'm going to do the buildings, wherever that is. Where's my buildings icon? All right, and I'm going to jump over to my design tab and give it a basic design. Let's just go ahead and give it a black. Use custom font size. I'm going to do 40, a nice clickable size there on mobile. And then the text center. Let's go ahead and center the alignment there. And make my text, actually, I don't know why I even have any body content here. I just need the title. So I'm going to take that out. And so make my title text, make it 12 pixels because I want it really small. Something like that, yeah. And for one little thing you can see, I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in. There's a lot of default spacing there. So I'm just going to adjust that by adding one little snippet of custom CSS to the blurb image there. And I'm just going to do margin bottom 10 pixels instead of, I forget what the default is. And that kind of shrunk up that space between there. Okay, so now that I'm done with that, I can duplicate my column. Right now this is a 1 column in that row. I'm just going to duplicate it 5 times so that I have a total of 6 columns with that blurb inside of it. And there you go. I'm not going to do it now, but then you can go in and add your, different text or icons and links or whatever. All right, so that takes care of my left side. See if I have any questions here. Cricket asks where to store the zip file. I mean, you can store it in the WordPress. I mean, it's all depending on what it is and if you want security or not. But I mean, you can store it. I think by default you can store it in your WordPress dashboard server. I'm sorry, media gallery there. and just get the link from there. How can I import a pre-made header that works for PC but also for mobile and tablet? Also want to remove the default hamburger on phone view. Those are great questions. Probably not something I can get to in this live stream. If anybody wants to take a crack at it, go ahead. Maybe I would suggest, going to our blog and searching for, headers, builds, and stuff like that. We normally do a good job showing you how to import those using the theme builder and stuff like that. So search there. If not, contact support. I'm sure they'll be glad to help you with that. Can you show what your page looks like on iPad? I'll get to that, Jeffers, when we do right now. Let's see what it looks like now. It's probably not going to be great. Yeah, because we don't have all of our content and stuff in there. But yeah, just try to be patient, and I'll get to that as we go along. All right. I do. Thanks for reminding me, though. I'm pretty sure, like for my row on the left side, I think I have this one as an absolute. I just want to make sure. Yeah, see, I need to make sure and change that to default or relative on tablet. That's probably why it's funky. So thanks for bringing that to my attention to check that. This one as well. This row is also absolute. So every time there's an absolute on desktop, not every time, but a lot of times, you may want to just go ahead and switch it on tablet back to normal, which is relative. So there you go. Thank you for that. All right, let's continue on with the questions. Let's see. Will you integrate WooCommerce? Tony asks, in this project. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're talking about this one, but you could. How to use Google Material Design components in Divi? It's a good question. Again, search our blog. We might have a few things on that. Let's see. What happened to Elegant Themes Dev Team? We got some releases coming, guys. Sorry it's been taking so long. I don't have a set date. I've been busy doing my own side of things, but hopefully in the near future we'll have something come up for you guys. All right, good questions. Let's go ahead and continue on. I got a lot more to cover in a short amount of time, so bear with me. Let's see. So on the right side, basically what we're doing is adding some toggles, and we're going to position those absolutely as well. So the first thing I need to do on this right side here is update my row settings. So I can do that within the layers view here. I can click on my row settings, or I can do it from the visual builder. And I'm going to bring that one over. And let's go ahead and update the row here. Basically what I want to do for this one, instead of positioning each row absolutely for each of my toggles, I'm just going to make the row and the column of the row basically the same size as my section container. So I'm making it full height on my row and my column, and then I'm just going to position those modules within the column absolutely. So for my row here, I'm going to do the same thing as before. I'm just going to give it a custom gutter width of 1, make it 100% width. Same thing for the max width. I want to make it 100%. On tablet though, I want to make it I think that's fine to keep it max width 100%. And then for the height, let's do 100%. Now, setting height to 100% doesn't work normally. you have to make sure that your container or parent container, in this case the section, has a set height. By default, by default, all these divs or like a section, a row, and a module will have a height of like auto because it's depending on the content that you have. It's just going to grow with the content. But if you give it a set height, like we did for our section of 100 view height, now we can set our row to 100% height, and it's going to span the full height of the section. That's important because we're going to do I'm going to save that out. Now, when I go to my column within the row, I'm going to edit the settings for that column. I have to go to my custom CSS for this because normally you don't need this, but I'm going to give it a height of 100% in the custom CSS here. And that's going to make sure my column, again, spans the full height of my row because my row has a set height. So it kind of stacks or builds upon one another. So now here, I have a full kind of like blank canvas that spans the full height and width of the section. Now I can start adding my modules. So here I want a toggle module. So search for that, add a toggle. And I'm going to paste in some content or HTML here because this one has a link in it. And I'm going to style that link using the design settings, this link right here. And it's got some unique, characters in there to kind of make it look like a button. I don't know, something different. And I'm just going to style my toggle here under the design settings. So for my icon, I want to make my color, I'm just going to make it black for now. I want to use my icon font size. I'm going to make it 40 pixels. Again, a nice clickable size. Open toggle background color. Let's go to my toggle here. Open toggle background color. I'm just going to make it transparent. I got it transparent here. And also for the close, I'm going to make it transparent. And for my title color, where is it? Title. So my open title text color, it's going to make it dark, make it, black again. And then same for the title text color, open and closed. Let's just do Poppins font there. I want to make my title text size, let's do 40 pixels. Okay. And make my body text color, let's do same color, let's just make it dark, like black. And let's do the link. So right now I'm editing my body text. Let's click the link tab. And I'm actually going to open up my toggle here so you can see right now there's the link. It's got that default blue color. Let's go ahead and make it a bold font weight. And let's do all caps. And let's make sure that link color is black there. Let's do some letter spacing to make it kind of more unique. And actually on hover, you can make it even more. Oop, that's not hover. Sorry. On hover, you can give it a little bit more letter spacing so it kind of, expands on hover. All right, let's go on. I think that's good. Let's go on to, I think we need to take out our background here, or excuse me, our border. So right now it has a border around it. Real quick, I want to adjust the title. I don't need that big long thing. I need just Divi. There you go. And then for my size and position, here's where things are going to get more particular, because I want a max width here, and I want a 400 because I want a consistent design. So I'm going to make that 400 pixel max width. I do want to change the width to 50% because I don't want it to go past 50% of the section. And so I want to take out the border. But before I do that, wait, yeah, that's right. Let's take out the border. So right now it's 1 pixel. I'll just change it to 0 pixels. So that's looking good. And now we need to position it. So right now it's at, default position in the top left. I'm gonna give it an absolute position. And to do that, I'm gonna make it absolute here. And of course I need to make it relative on tablet real quick. I'm going to keep all my modules at the location at the top right, the top left location, and then position them with vertical and horizontal offsets. That way they stay consistent. The main reason why I chose to do that is because I want all the toggles to open from the top to the bottom, or I should say not all, the top and the bottom ones I do. And so that's how you do that. Vertical offset, I'm going to do 22%. So there we go. And kind of the goal there is to kind of line it up with my letter of Divi over here on the left side. So that's kind of my goal as much as possible. And then the horizontal offset, I'm going to do 50%. So there you go, leaving room for my line, which I'm going to eventually add. I'm going to do 2 z-index because I want it sitting above other elements. Looking good. And this one little snippet of custom CSS I'm going to add to the icon because right now it's on the right side and I want it on the left. So all I'm going to add here for my toggle icon is left -60 pixels. And that just changes it to on the left side. All right. But it still works the same. You click on it, it does the toggle. All right, so that's my first toggle. So let's create my bottom toggle because it's really similar to this one in position. So I'm just going to duplicate it. And right now it's going to sit on top of the other one. So I'm going to open it up. I'm actually going to use my layers view there to open it up. Make sure I got my second one or duplicate selected. Then I'm going to go to my position option, and I'm going to, all I really need to do is increase the vertical offset to a greater percentage. Here it is, needs to be 70% instead of 22. There it is. See it down there now. And that's basically all I need to do for that one. I can go back and adjust the content, but for the most part, we're set. Let's go ahead and create one more toggle. Let's duplicate this one again, and then let's open it up in our layers view there. And for this one, go to my position, and I'm going to adjust the location for this one to be left center. You can see it in the middle. There's my middle toggle. And then for my horizontal offset, right now it's 50%. I'm actually going to do a pixel offset of 19 pixels. And you can see, if I move this over, it's right in the center of the entire layout there. It's overlapping the adjacent section by basically 19 pixels. And basically half of the icon size. So that's what we're doing there. All right. All right, we're in the home stretch, guys. Thanks for hanging with me. I know you probably have some questions. I'll get to those in a moment. I do want to update the size for this one as well. So I'm going to go back in this middle blurb. I'm sorry, toggle. And right now, let's go to the size here. Some minor adjustment. Right now it's set to 50, but we really don't need it to be 50 because we want to give it some room, especially on as the browser window shrinks a bit. So let's change it to 95% and then give it a max width of 500. Okay. And this is one, I mean, completely optional, but I just kind of found this cool little snippet here. If I change the kind of the organization of how this toggle is built by adding or using display flex, I'm going to add it to the main element here. I'm just going to put display flex. And then I'm going to align items center. Now, whenever I click on my toggle, it's going to open up on the right of my title there instead of underneath. And it opens it up kind of cool. So that's why I did that. Completely optional. All right, so I think I'm pretty close to the time limit there. I mean, the only thing I really need to do next is to add those lines, divider lines that connect the text here to the toggle. I'm just going to probably hold off on doing that. It's basically the same idea of positioning them absolutely right next to this one. But I do go into that on the blog post. The guide, it went out this morning, so check the blog or the chat actually here, the video description. Sorry, I can't talk. Check the video description for a link to our blog post that went out today on this for more information. So, but that's the basic setup. Let me get to these questions. So how to design, customize WooCommerce categories, tags, related pages with Divi. Yes, good question. Again, check our blog first if you haven't already. We may have done something like that. 147 Dev said Mac thinks Mac did a video on that. So yeah, you might want to check our archive there. But not sure. Can you upload your own icons? Yes, you can. Again, check our blog. You can import, actually, drag actually icons into the Divi layout, and it'll automatically kind of set you up to add a custom font within the Divi builder itself. Really cool, actually. But good question, Peggy. Oh, wait, you're asking, I was thinking font. Sorry, not icons. There's an icon font. That's why I was thinking that. Yes, you can use an icon font to do it, but you can also, I'm sure there's plugins out there that could do like Font Awesome and stuff as well. Or you can add the Font Awesome manually into a blurb or a text module if you want. Jinwei says, really, maybe exactly not for categories. Yeah, I'm not sure. Christos, is it possible to make a full section horizontal scroll effect? Full section horizontal scroll effect. I think we had one that went out pretty recently, actually, that's similar to that. If not, I think we have one coming. I think Danietta's doing one. That's really cool. That's going to be really helpful. So stay tuned for that. That's great. Okay, good. Thanks for the questions, guys. Let's see. Angel. What's up from Facebook there? How's your website loading time? For this particular one, this is just it's not really a website. It's just kind of a layout, but you know, you can always customize loading time. Just check our blog for how to make Divi faster. I think there's a big ultimate guide on that, so should help you out. But thanks for the question. All right, so let's check out the final result here before we go. Let's see. I'm gonna open it up. I'm very leery or not confident that I added all of those responsive design elements to make it completely responsive, but the blog post does go into detail on that. So if I do mess up, guys, please forgive me. Okay. I'm just gonna inspect it here. So yeah, see, not looking good already. But the reason behind this is, I can already tell. Like for example, my section here is probably, again, set to absolute, but not to relative on tablet. So let me do that. That might do it. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to be a big help, because before it was kind of sitting on top of the other one on tablet. So let me refresh. All right, so that's a lot closer, guys. So it looks like one of my toggles is not in the right position on tablet. In fact, these two aren't. They're supposed to be sitting to the left. But that's the basic idea. Let's see. I think that has to do with my offsets. So position. So my horizontal offset's 50, but on tablet, I think I need to, excuse me, make it something else like 8% so that it's hugged to the left. Yeah. So that's how you fix those toggles, if you're wondering. Yeah, so you'll just need to do that for all of those. All right. Let's see. Watch it grow on browsers sizes there. All right, very good. Last tip here, guys. I know some of you have this particular layout doesn't have, let me get out of this, doesn't have a header. It's actually, so even on the full screen, well, right now it's full screen, so it's going to span the full height and width of your browser window. But if you do have a Divi header or a default header, it's going to not be perfectly kind of full screen, because that header is kind of in addition to that 100 view height that you added to these sections. So just real quick, I don't think I added this to the blog, but if you do want to account for that header, go to the section, and instead of the height being 100 view height, give it a custom height. Looks like this, like height equals calc 100 view height minus 80 pixels. And that's going to account for that 80 pixel. That's the default height of your header. And that's going to set you up, let me zoom in on that, set you up for a full screen layout that accommodates your default header. So there you go. That's all the wisdom I have for you today. Not much, but hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully everybody's staying safe, doing well in quarantine out there. If you have any more questions, just, hopefully we can get to it and reach out on the blog posts, comments, or again, this video will be available to you later on as well. All right, so let's go ahead and close this out, guys. That's all I got for you this week. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Please be sure to subscribe to our blog newsletter, our YouTube channel, and like us on Facebook. And make sure you select to get those notifications so that we can notify you every time we have something new for you. We'll be back here next Tuesday with another Divi use case live stream. But before that, make sure you check out our WP Weekly Roundup with BJ Keaton, which is Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And also, you can check out the video description for more information on how you can contribute to our own blog with your own unique content. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys soon.